What happens when one of America's most beloved talk show hosts faces off against royalty gone rogue in a battle of egos that nobody saw coming? It only took 34 seconds for a friendly interview to explode into the most shocking meltdown in daytime television history. Kelly Clarkson sat across from Meghan Markle in the cozy studio that had welcomed hundreds of guests over the years. The audience was buzzing with excitement. This was supposed to be a lighthearted conversation about new beginnings and finding your voice. Nobody expected what was about to unfold. Kelly started with her signature warmth. "I'm so excited to have you here. I think a lot of people are curious about your journey and what you've been up to lately." Meghan smiled, but something felt off. Her eyes had a sharpness to them. "Well, Kelly, I appreciate you having me. Though I have to say, I expected a different setup." Kelly laughed, thinking it was a joke. "Oh, what do you mean?" "I mean this," Meghan gestured around the studio. "I was told this would be more intimate, more befitting of someone of my stature." The audience went quiet. Kelly's smile stayed in place, but you could see the confusion in her eyes. "Well, this is our standard setup. We've had presidents, Oscar winners. Everyone sits right here." Meghan leaned back in her chair. "Yes, but I'm not everyone, am I?" Kelly tried to pivot. She was a professional. She had handled difficult guests before. "Of course not. You have such a unique story. Let's talk about that. What has this new chapter been like for you?" "Kelly, can I be honest with you?" Meghan didn't wait for an answer. "I came here thinking I would have a platform to really speak my truth. But these questions, they're so surface level, so basic." The studio audience shifted uncomfortably. Kelly's producer in the booth was probably losing their mind. But Kelly kept her composure. "I'm sorry you feel that way. What would you like to talk about?" "I want to talk about how the media has destroyed my life," Meghan said, her voice rising. "I want to talk about how I've been persecuted. But instead, you're asking me these softball questions like I'm some reality star." Kelly took a breath. You could see her choosing her words carefully. "Meghan, I ask all my guests about their journey. It's how we start conversations. I want to give you space to share whatever you'd like to share." "Space?" Meghan laughed, but it wasn't friendly. "You want to give me space? Kelly, do you know what it's like to be me? To have the entire world watching your every move? To be vilified for simply existing?" "I can't imagine how hard that must be," Kelly said gently. "I really can't. But I'm here to listen." "Are you, though?" Meghan shot back. "Because it feels like you're here to get ratings off my name, just like everyone else." The audience gasped. Kelly's face changed. The warmth was still there, but now there was something else. Strength. "Meghan, that's not fair. I invited you here in good faith. Every single person who sits in that chair gets respect. I'm giving you that respect right now." Meghan waved her hand dismissively. "Respect? You want to talk about respect? Let me tell you about respect, Kelly. Respect is recognizing when someone is above the usual treatment. Respect is understanding that not everyone should be asked the same boring questions." "I treat everyone the same here," Kelly said firmly. "That's the whole point of this show. We're all human beings having conversations." "But we're not all the same," Meghan insisted. "Some of us have lived through things that others can't comprehend. Some of us have sacrificed everything." Kelly nodded slowly. "You're right. Everyone has different experiences. And I'm trying to create a space where you can share yours. But you have to meet me halfway." "Meet you halfway?" Meghan's voice got louder. "Why should I have to meet anyone halfway? Do you know what I gave up? Do you have any idea what it cost me to walk away from everything?" "I'm sure it was incredibly difficult," Kelly said. "But Meghan, you chose to come on this show. Nobody forced you to be here." That was the moment everything shifted. Meghan stood up slightly in her chair. Excuse me? Are you seriously saying that to me right now? Kelly remained calm. I'm saying that if you don't want to be here, you don't have to be. But if you stay, I need you to have a conversation with me, not at me. The audience was dead silent. Every eye was locked on the two women. Meghan's face flushed red. You know what, Kelly? I came here thinking you were different. I thought you of all people would understand what it's like to be underestimated, to be doubted. I do understand that, Kelly said quietly. I understand it very well. No, you don't, Meghan snapped. You can't. You've always been America's sweetheart. You've never had to fight for respect the way I have. Why, you've never been called the things I've been called. Kelly's jaw tightened. Meghan, I've been in this industry for over 20 years. I've been criticized, torn apart, judged for my weight, my voice, my choices. So please don't tell me I don't understand struggle. That's not the same, Meghan said coldly. That's not even close to the same. You're right, Kelly agreed. Our struggles are different. Everyone's struggles are different. But that doesn't make yours more valid than anyone else's. Meghan stared at her. I cannot believe you just said that. I said it because it's true, Kelly replied. I have compassion for what you've been through. I really do. But you don't get to come on my show and talk down to me. You don't get to dismiss my experiences or my questions. Talk down to you? Meghan's voice was shrill now. I'm simply trying to have an intelligent conversation, and you're acting like I'm the problem. You are being the problem right now, Kelly said, and her voice was steel. You came here with an attitude from the start. You've insulted me, insulted my show, and insulted my audience. These people came here excited to hear from you. Meghan looked at the audience like she just remembered they existed. Oh, please, they came here for drama. That's all anyone wants anymore. That's not true, Kelly said. They came here because they're curious about you. Because despite everything, people want to give you a chance. But you're making it really hard right now. I'm making it hard? Meghan stood up fully now. I'm making it hard? Kelly, you have no idea what hard is. You sit here in your comfortable studio with your comfortable life and your comfortable questions, and you judge people like me who have actually been through hell. Kelly stood up too. Meghan, I'm not judging you, but I am asking you to show some basic respect. That's all. Basic respect? Meghan grabbed her purse. You want to talk to me about basic respect when you've been condescending to me this entire time? I have not been condescending, Kelly said firmly. I've been trying to have a conversation with you. You're the one who came in here with an agenda. An agenda? Meghan's laugh was bitter. My agenda was to share my story, but clearly that's not what you want. You want me to play nice. You want me to be grateful for this opportunity. Well, I'm not grateful, Kelly. I'm a duchess. I don't need this show. The audience actually gasped out loud this time. Kelly's eyes widened. Then why are you here? Meghan faltered. Just for a second, she seemed to realize how she sounded, but then her defenses went back up. I'm here because my team thought it would be good for my image, but clearly, they were wrong. Your image? Kelly shook her head. Meghan, your image is struggling because of moments exactly like this one. You're so focused on being seen as special that you can't see how you're treating people. How dare you, Meghan hissed. You don't get to psychoanalyze me. You're a talk show host, not a therapist. You're right, Kelly said. I'm a talk show host. This is my show, my studio, and I'm asking you to either sit down and have a respectful conversation or leave. The studio went completely silent. Even the cameras seemed to hold their breath. Meghan stared at Kelly with pure fury in her eyes. You're kicking me out? I'm giving you a choice, Kelly said calmly. Stay and talk with me like a normal human being, or go. But I won't let you disrespect me or my audience anymore. Meghan's hands were shaking. This is unbelievable. This is absolutely unbelievable. Do you know who I am? Yes, Kelly said softly. You're a person who's been through a lot, but that doesn't give you the right to treat people badly. I'm not treating anyone badly, Meghan insisted, even though everyone in that room knew it wasn't true. I'm simply refusing to be treated as less than. Nobody is treating you as less than, Kelly said, and now she sounded tired. You're treating yourself as more than, and that's the problem. Meghan's face went pale, and then red. I will not stand here and be insulted by someone who could never understand what I've sacrificed. Then don't stand here, Kelly said quietly. Go. For a moment, it looked like Meghan might actually sit back down. Her mouth opened, then closed. She looked at the audience, then back at Kelly. You're really doing this? You're really making me do this, Kelly replied. Meghan grabbed her microphone and pulled it off with shaking hands. The sound tech winced as feedback screeched through the speakers. This is a mistake, Kelly. A huge mistake. Maybe, Kelly said, but it's my mistake to make. Your show is nothing without guests like me, Meghan said, her voice venomous now. You need people like me to stay relevant. Kelly smiled sadly. Meghan, I've had this show for years. I've interviewed legends. I've had moments that made people laugh and cry. I don't need any single guest to validate this show. Every person who sits in that chair matters, but no one person is bigger than the show itself. Well, I am, Meghan said. I'm bigger than this show. I'm bigger than you. The audience actually booed. It was soft at first, then louder. Meghan's eyes went wide. She looked around like she couldn't believe what she was hearing. Are you serious right now? Kelly held up her hand, and the audience went quiet. Meghan, I think you should go. Fine, Meghan spat. I'll go, but everyone will hear about this. Everyone will know how I was treated here. I'm sure they will, Kelly said calmly, and they'll see the footage and make up their own minds. That seemed to hit Meghan harder than anything else. She looked at the cameras, suddenly aware that everything had been recorded. You wouldn't dare air this. Why not? Kelly asked. It's the truth. Isn't that what you wanted? To speak your truth? Meghan's mouth opened and closed like a fish. This isn't... You didn't think there would be consequences, Kelly finished for her. You thought you could come in here, say whatever you wanted, treat people however you wanted, and just walk away. That's not what I thought, Meghan said, but her voice was weaker now. Then what did you think? Kelly asked, and she actually sounded curious. What did you think was going to happen here? Meghan didn't answer. She just stood there, clutching her purse, looking smaller somehow than she had when she walked in. The righteous anger was gone. In its place was something that looked almost like fear. I thought you would understand, Meghan finally whispered. I do understand, Kelly said gently. I understand that you're hurt. I understand that you feel like the world has been against you. But Meghan, you can't use that pain as a weapon against people who are trying to help you. You weren't trying to help me, Meghan said, but there was no bite to it anymore. Yes, I was, Kelly insisted. I invited you here to give you a platform, to let you share your side. But you came in here ready for a fight. Meghan looked down at her feet. For just a second, she looked like she might cry. But then she straightened up, and the mask came back. I'm leaving. Okay, Kelly said. Meghan waited, like she expected Kelly to stop her, to beg her to stay. But Kelly just stood there, calm and steady. The silence stretched out, and someone in the audience coughed. A camera moved slightly, the mechanical sound loud in the quiet. This is your last chance, Meghan said, and it sounded more desperate than threatening. You can apologize, and we can start over. Kelly tilted her head. Apologize for what? For disrespecting me, Meghan said, for treating me like I'm nobody. Meghan, Kelly said, and her voice was so kind it was almost painful to hear. I never treated you like you were nobody. I treated you like you were somebody. Like you were a guest on my show who deserved the same respect I give everyone. You're the one who decided that wasn't enough." Meghan's face crumpled. Just for a second, the facade completely broke. But then she pulled herself together, yanked her shoulders back, and lifted her chin. "You'll regret this." "Maybe," Kelly said again. "But I don't think so." Meghan turned to the audience. "You all saw this. You all saw how she treated me." But the audience just stared back at her. Nobody nodded. Nobody agreed. The silence was deafening. Meghan's confidence wavered again. She looked back at Kelly one more time. "I could have made this show. I could have given you the best interview you've ever had." "You still could have," Kelly said softly. "Right up until this moment you could have. That's what makes this so sad." Meghan's eyes filled with tears, but she blinked them back. "Goodbye, Kelly." "Goodbye, Meghan," Kelly said. And then Meghan walked off the stage. Her heels clicked against the floor. Too loud. Too sharp. The audience watched her go. The cameras followed her until she disappeared through the side door. And then she was gone. Kelly stood there for a moment, just breathing. Then she turned to the audience. "Well," she said, and her voice was a little shaky. "That was something." The audience erupted. They clapped. They cheered. They stood up. Kelly smiled, but it was a sad smile. She wiped at her eyes quickly, like she didn't want anyone to see that the confrontation had affected her. "I want you all to know," Kelly said, her voice carrying over the applause, "that I really did want to have a good conversation with her. I wanted to give her a chance to share her story. I hope you believe that." The audience clapped harder. Kelly nodded, taking a deep breath. Sometimes things don't go the way you plan. Sometimes people come in with hurt and anger, and they don't know how to put it down. I've been there. I get it. But I also know that you can't let people walk all over you in the name of understanding their pain. Someone in the audience shouted, "You did the right thing!" Kelly smiled, wider this time. "Thank you. That means a lot, because it wasn't easy. Confrontation is never easy, but sometimes it's necessary." She walked back to her chair and sat down, smoothing her dress. "You know what? Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have someone who actually wants to be here." The audience laughed, grateful for the tension break. Kelly laughed too, and for a moment, everything felt normal again. But everyone in that studio knew they had just witnessed something extraordinary. Something that would be talked about for a very long time. As the commercial break started, Kelly sat back in her chair and closed her eyes. So her producer rushed over, asking if she was okay. Kelly nodded, but she looked exhausted. "That was intense," she murmured. "You handled it perfectly," her producer said. "Did I?" Kelly opened her eyes. "Because it feels like I just threw someone off my show." "She threw herself off," the producer corrected. "You just called her on her behavior." Kelly nodded slowly. "I guess so. I really wanted it to go differently." "We all did," the producer agreed. "But some people don't want help. They want validation for their bad behavior. And you can't give them that." Kelly thought about that as her makeup artist touched up her face for the next segment. The audience was still buzzing, talking among themselves about what they'd just seen. Outside, in the parking lot, Meghan was probably getting into her car, furious and embarrassed. But inside the studio, Kelly Clarkson was taking a deep breath and preparing to move forward. Because that's what professionals do. They handle the chaos with grace. They stand their ground when necessary. And they keep going, even when things get hard. Even when guests come in with expectations that can never be met. Even when you have to look someone in the eye and tell them no. Kelly opened her eyes as the commercial break ended. She smiled at the camera, warm and genuine. "Welcome back," she said, like nothing had happened. like she hadn't just had the most dramatic confrontation of her hosting career. Now, let's get to someone who's really excited to be here. And just like that, the show went on.